Hey Highlanders, John Stoll here, High School Student Services Advisor and your administrative contact for the Highlander Virtual program. Recording this before the holidays, so if you don't get it till after the holidays, I hope you and your family really enjoyed some time over the holidays. I'm joined here by a couple of our Highlander Virtual staff members, so I want to go ahead and introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, I'm Ryan Horn. I'm the instructional coordinator for the Highlander Virtual program. It's good to see you all.
Hi, I'm Jane Helcrow. I'm one of the Highlander Virtual teachers, teaching geometry and personal finance for second semester.
All right, we wanted to talk to you guys a second about what you can expect in the Highlander Virtual program this coming semester. We probably won't answer all of your questions, but we'll give you some contact information. You can see mine there below. If we don't answer all your questions, please feel free to reach out and we'll do our best to answer all those. But hopefully we can get the majority of them today. All right. So a few things that we are going to talk about. One is we want you to understand and what to expect for your student's schedule next semester. That's going to look a little bit different than it did this past semester. So we'll go through some of those differences and what it'll look like. Knowing where to go to answer some of the questions that you do have, and maybe you can solve those without even reaching out to us, and we'll show you some of the resources that are available to help answer those questions. We're going to review some student expectations and really try to set your students up for success, how to understand the best ways to utilize Schoology and get you the information you need and your student. And I think I already talked about, and really we're all just here to help all of our students be successful. All right. So student schedules. Here's a copy of our current in-person bell schedule, and we're actually going to try to follow this in our Highlander Virtual program next semester. There's certainly still going to be an element of flexibility. So how it'll work is your Highlander Virtual student will be enrolled in a minimum of 4 classes. So you can see this is our A-B schedule. Students in our in-person schedule are enrolled in 7 classes. Your student may be enrolled in 7 classes, but has a minimum of 4. So they may have first hour, second hour English and math, in which case they'll meet for English and math on the first 2 A days of each week. So what we do is we flip-flop A and B day every day. So if Monday is an A day, then Tuesday becomes a B day, go back to Wednesday, another A day. So the following week, then Monday would now be a B day. So if you meet Monday, Wednesday on your A day one week, you'll meet Tuesday, Thursday the next. So you can expect your student to have some synchronous learning time with their first hour class and teacher for approximately 30 minutes on A days. And our hour and a half block for those students in person is from 7:35 to 9:05. We don't expect your student to be on Zoom for 7 hours a day or for a full hour and a half. We'd really like to do it for approximately 30 minutes, and we're going to target the middle of each of those blocks. So they're all 90-minute blocks. So if your student's first hour English class is meeting, it'll probably be at around 8:05 to 8:35. So that way, if they do come in person for a performing art, a band, a choir class, or some other class, there's a little bit of half-hour travel time if they did need to come to the building for an in-person elective. They will also be enrolled in a flex time class. All of our students here in person are enrolled in a flex time class that meets daily. Your student in Highlander Virtual won't meet daily with their flex time class or teacher. But we do want a venue to connect them to some school-wide activities that'll be coming up this semester, and that'll give us a good avenue to connect with your students outside of a classroom. And as I mentioned, they're only going to meet with their classes the first 2 A or B days of the week. So if we're in a full 5-day week, they'll meet Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they won't have any scheduled synchronous learning time on Fridays. That doesn't mean they won't have anything to do. They just won't necessarily be meeting with their teacher and other classmates unless they reach out and schedule an individual meeting. Jane, Ryan, anything you guys want to add on student schedules?
Actually, yeah. So the timing can be really confusing with following this A-B block. Teachers will be always posting their synchronous sessions on the Schoology calendar. So every week, students can log into Schoology and they can find what time and what day they're meeting with each of their teachers. So you don't have to memorize the schedule. As long as the students know to look at Schoology calendar, they'll find when they're meeting with their teachers.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Jane. Speaking of not having to memorize all this information, I wanted to take a second to walk you guys through some areas on our school website where you can find some of this information, like, hey, I forgot, is today an A or B day? It's Monday. I can't remember what Friday was last week, if it was an A or a B day. The bell schedule, I can't remember when classes meet. Some technology questions, Schoology, all that stuff. So a lot of that can be found by starting at our howellschools.com homepage, which I've pulled up here. And if you go to schools and go down to Howell High School, and you were wondering, hey, is today an A day or B day? What's going on at school? If you just go to About Us, you can always pull up our daily announcements. So as I mentioned, I'm recording this before Christmas holiday break. And today's an A day and it's December 18th. And here's what's going on in Highlander Nation. All right, what else could we get here? Drop down, you can pull up that same bell schedule that I just had shared with you a second ago. If we go back to the main page, I wanted to highlight this HPS alternative learning support. And I'm going to have Mr. Ryan Horn kind of boss me through the important parts of this web page. So I'm going to click and open this.
Thanks, Jonathan. So families, we did our best to create a one-stop shop for Schoology questions. So if you have questions related to Schoology, students can't access their assignments. They're not finding links in the calendar. Any kind of roadblocks you're running into with Schoology or questions you have, you're going to want to come here first. And you're going to be interested in the student resources section. That's the first place. So I'm going to perfect. Thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan, you can scroll on just a little bit. There are some frequently asked questions. So we have some videos at the bottom of this page. One is, how in the world can students log into Schoology in the first place, right? Submitting assignments and things like that. So check here for some videos that might be helpful for some commonly asked questions. And then, Mr. Stoll, if I can ask you to scroll all the way back up to the top again. There's some links up here at the top. I'm just going to highlight one of them. And that is the Schoology for Students, well, two of them, I guess, but the Schoology for Students link and the Schoology for Families. Go ahead and click on that top one there, Mr. Stoll. Thank you so much. This is a direct link to the Schoology Help Center. And the Schoology Help Center is, I would recommend, our #1 place to go for specifics with Schoology questions. So if you have a question, let's click on courses.
All right.
Perfect. You'll notice that there's some articles up there, but you can click on see all 23 articles to see more. This is a great place to go for our students if they have questions about their assignments or their assessments. Click on any of these and it goes through and gives a step-by-step view of what students would need to do. So thanks so much, Mr. So as you can see, this has screenshots and everything. This is a great place for students to go, or even parents to go if your kids are struggling. Come here first, and hopefully that'll help save you guys some time so you don't have to wait for a reply back from an email to someone else to get an answer. Or if you're asking a teacher, hey, I don't know how to start my quiz or my test in Schoology. Come here first. That might help you before you have to send that email or that question. Jonathan, I think that's all I have for that HPS alternative website.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate that. Let me go back just to our homepage. I'm going to come back to a few of these later. and finish up a couple other helpful links that are on there, but let's move on real quick. So during your synchronous learning time, most of it will be via video conferencing through Zoom, okay? So some of our teachers have put together a list of some helpful things that your students can do when they're in their Zoom meetings. And so Jane and I are going to take a second and we'll just tag team alternate each of these bullet points so you guys know what we're talking about. A lot of the Zoom meetings are going to be recorded, mainly because sometimes students are absent from class, appointments come up, emergencies come up, and we still want them to have access to any information that was given during that Zoom. And so many of our teachers will record Zooms and post them to their Schoology page if a kid was absent or wants to rewatch some material. Go ahead, Jane.
When the students join Zoom, teachers love to see faces. So we ask that you turn your video on when you joined, and then that's how we take attendance too. And also when you join in, make sure you're entering your full first and last name. We have a lot of students with the same first name, and then we have a lot with the same last name too. So like mine is set up as my initial. If there were any other help rows, the teacher might not know who to take attendance for, especially if they don't get to see your face. So we really ask for people to turn on their videos and then make sure their full first and last name is in the chat because we download those, which Mr. Stoll, that's the next one.
All right, yes. So there's always a chat feature that's available. Your teacher can choose to control a little bit of the settings in those chats, but oftentimes they're helpful for our teachers to get some formative feedback on how kids are doing with the course material, or just to communicate in general and asking questions in class. So those chats are really for educational purposes only, and please use them in a positive way.
And I talked about using first and last name. Your full name as your Zoom screen name. So I'll skip down to the next one too. This is class. So even though you're joining in a Zoom, treat it like you would as if you were in the classroom and you're in person. So it's supposed to be positive. You might be chatting a little bit with the students at the beginning of the session, but you're still attentive to when the teacher starts class. So you treat it just like you were in your in-person class.
Absolutely. Good one, Jane. Thanks for doing both those. Also, just like you would come to school and treat it like it's a classroom, make sure since we're not providing the environment for you, you find an appropriate area in your house to do this. Something with like a generic background. I could easily, turn my background so it's just this blank wall behind me. We try to keep it as private as possible. Find a blank wall in your house, sit down by that, do your quick Zoom meeting, and dress appropriately, just like you would if you were coming to school. Don't show up in pajamas or ripped or torn clothing or anything you wouldn't come to school in. And as far as an appropriate environment as well, someplace that's quiet would really help. It always helps when you're in a Zoom meeting with multiple people. If you keep your mute button on, so for example, I could turn my, all right, well, that menu bar, there it goes. So if there are noises or distractions, we don't hear it coming through from 30 different places. So do try to find a quiet place and use that mute button appropriately. Go ahead, Jane.
Mr. Stoll, that ties into minimizing your distractions. So a lot of students say being at home is better because there's less distractions of other students in the classroom, but now you might have pets or younger siblings or the television or that game console that's sitting across the room in your bedroom. Make sure you're trying not to use those types of materials or even your cell phone during a Zoom because it is like you're in class. We're asking for 30 minutes per class. We want your full attention. Find that location that's nice and quiet and away from what you know will distract you from paying attention.
Yep. And make sure when you come to your Zoom meeting, you're prepared. You've checked your weekly folder in Schoology. You've watched any videos that your teacher has posted, looked at the Google Slides or the course materials they've asked you to come prepared for. So you're ready to discuss the content and participate in the activities. Our teachers have been doing an awesome job creating meaningful activities in these virtual settings. So please come to those prepared.
And finally, we ask that you try to stay focused and contribute to the class in a positive way, just like you would in your in-person. If the teacher asks a question, you can use your Zoom to raise your hand. You can enter it in the chat. I love when students turn their mics on to answer questions, so I can not only see their beautiful faces, but hear their beautiful voices. We want to still interact with the students like we normally can. So we ask for you to contribute in the Zooms as much as possible.
Anything you want to add, Mr. Horn?
No, those are great. You guys did great.
All right, awesome. All right. You know, about halfway through the semester, this last semester, we reached out to our staff and asked them, like, what are the things that some of your students are doing that are helping them be successful? What are some patterns that you're noticing? So I want to open up a page we created that sort of captured some of that information. All right. So I think the number one thing that we got from our teachers' feedback was, you know, make a plan for your week. The one of the great things about this Highlander Virtual program is that it can be, what do I say, very flexible for you. So with that, you really do need to find some structure. So make a plan for your day, make a plan for your week. As your daily plans change, your weekly plans might change, but have a place where you really look at, I'm going to accomplish this and this today. This is what needs to get done today. This is when I need to be in class for the week. And this is when I can fit in completing X assignments. And speaking of assignments, I'll let Jane talk a little bit about assignment completion.
Yes, so teachers assign assignments throughout the week. Personally, my classes, I have them due on Sundays, so students have the week to complete them, but please don't wait until Sunday to do them all. I don't want that to happen. I don't want you to give up your weekend. I just put it on that date in case you need a little bit of extra time, but teachers usually will put some type of weekly announcement in to help with that planning your week out on when you should be completing your assignments. When you make that plan, spread it out. Add a couple assignments in each day so that you get everything done by the end of the week, but you're not like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do this weekend, to make sure you're on track for Monday. So even though they're assigned for a specific date, you can always do them beforehand as long as they're open.
All right. And our teachers have been doing an awesome job of sometimes not only posting what their plans for the week look like, but also a video walking through what that'll look like, videos of how to download and complete assignments, download videos of content that you'll need to complete assignments. And they're really posting these videos to make your life easier. So please watch those videos. Don't just open an assignment and try to complete it without watching a video that has the content associated with it or instructions of how to complete it. Those will really save you a lot of headaches and time in redoing assignments and really just making your life easier. So check out those videos. A lot of them are recorded through a program called Loom and are short and to the point and will really help you guys out. Go ahead, Jane.
So communication, and this totally ties into watching the videos, because sometimes if you send your teacher an email, which we always email us, please talk with us, come to the Zooms, send us emails if you have questions, or if you fall behind, reach out to the teacher so they can maybe come up with a plan on how you can catch up. Usually, if a student sends me a question, I know reading an email is not the best way to learn. I make a Loom. I record a quick video, I share my screen, show them where to look for the problem and send it their way. It's 30 seconds to maybe 2 minutes, depending on the length of the problem. And so many students respond back and say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. That was like coming to your classroom between classes, needing some help on a question. So teachers will send out whatever we can, but we need to hear from you if you need help. So please reach out to us. We'll have office hours or appointments set up for those Fridays when we don't have the live synchronous sessions. It's okay to come to us and say, I'm not sure what to do. Sometimes, to play into the last one, I might say, did you watch the video? And if you said yes, I'll help you. If you said no, I might ask you to watch the video first. But reach out to us. Let us know when you need help.
Yes, thanks, Jane. All right, the last one here is use your Schoology and PowerSchool gradebooks on a regular basis. Parents, that's really for you and students. You should both be checking these. When student says, yeah, I got all my work done today, like, check and see that it's submitted in Schoology. Make them open that page and show you that it's submitted. You'll get real-time feedback on that. And PowerSchool syncs with Schoology daily. Every now and then there are some technology delays as with all technology. But if you're looking at an assignment that's over a week old and your student's saying it's been completed, you really at that point should be reaching out to the teacher to confirm that. Within a couple of days, our teachers have entered those grades. And if it's a bigger project, it could take up to a week. But if it's been over a week, that's cause for concern. And please reach out to us to resolve any of those issues. But please use those grade books as much as possible. The official record keeper of all grades is PowerSchool. But Schoology will give you some real-time feedback when students have submitted work and is a great resource for you. Anything you guys want to add before we move on? All right, awesome. Let me go back. All right, this is kind of a screenshot of a Schoology gradebook, and Ms. Halcrow was going to kind of talk us through some of the important points here.
Yes. So like Mr. Stoll was talking about, when you want to have real-time feedback on how students are doing in classes, when a student is logged in, on that left-hand side where Mr. Stoll is pointing with his mouse, there's a grades option. And that if they click the grades, this will pop up. So it'll have the name of the class at the top, and you'll be able to see every single assignment in the class. On the right-hand side, you'll see the grade. You might see if there's comments left by the teacher. Here we have a couple comments for a couple of assignments. And you'll definitely see the grade and if it's been turned in or if it's missing. So this student is missing something way back from September 1st. So that's a good indicator that they might need to reach out to the teacher to see if they can do it again. Mr. Stoll, do you want to click to the next slide? Because then I want to talk. Perfect. So if we look down under quizzes, that Unit 5 quiz has not been submitted yet. Well, it actually has been, because there's a little thing. So that's how your student can tell if they've submitted something. That little blank page means they turned something in. If it's just the dash mark, something has not been submitted yet. So this quiz on the left-hand side, if you take your mouse to the left, we can see the date and the time. So this was due 2 days ago. So it makes sense the teacher might not have graded it yet because a quiz might take longer to grade. But if that was just a dash without the little page, the student can click on the name of the assignment to get directly to the assignment to submit whatever they need to submit. So this grades page is amazing when your student is looking to find, what am I missing? What do I need to turn in? Where were my grades? I can see the factor quiz is a 2 out of 10. That might need to be an email to the teacher and say, what happened? How can I improve this? So this is a great quick snapshot of how your student can look and improve on their grades.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jane. All right. Just wanted to leave you guys with some final thoughts here. If you or your student is stuck, how can you get help? You have a ton of resources. Some of them we've already talked about. First thing is make some connections with some of the other students in your classes. You know, your kids have been going to school likely with these students for several years. Some of you may be new to us, but build those connections and reach out to other students for help. Peer-to-peer help is one of the best things you can do for your student. We actually do have a National Honor Society tutoring service that'll be available. I'll send more information on that to come, where your students can come and get some peer-to-peer support as well. Reach out to your student's teacher. If you're not sure how to connect with your student's teacher, that information is again on our webpage. I'll show you the link to it here. Go to Howell Public Schools, click on Howell High School, go to our staff directory, and you can find your teacher's email. Send them an email with any questions that you have. Reach out to your school counselor if you have questions about classes, graduating. Your student needs someone to talk to privately. Our school counselors are here to service not only our in-person students, but our virtual students as well, and would be happy to help you. Here's how you can find who you'd reach out to. Again, it'll go to your Howell Public Schools webpage, click on Howell High School, click on our counseling department. And here's a link that'll send an email to all of our 1012 counselors. So that's our counselors here at our 1012 building. Your student's counselor would be organized by their last name. So my last name is Stoll. So Mrs. Dare would be my school counselor because my last name is ST, which falls in this range. If your student is a freshman, Miss Starr will be their school counselor. So no alpha sorting for freshmen. Check our school website. There's often announcements and updates to like that alternative learning support page. As those frequently asked questions come in, we'll add resources to get you the answers you need quickly to those. If you have specific questions that aren't on there, our tech department can help you. If you go to our Howell Public Schools webpage, I think it was Ryan, you can jump in here. It was services, correct?
Yeah, so if you guys, let's say you have a Chromebook issue. This is mostly for hardware. Your Chromebook's not working. It's not charging. It's not connecting. There's something going on with the Chromebook. You've turned it off and turned it on and still can't figure it out. If that's the case, go ahead and you're going to go to howellschools.com. Once you get to howellschools.com, if you hover over services on the top there, under services, you'll see a drop down for the technology department. That'll give you the help desk phone number or an email. If you have Schoology questions, you know, my student or my child can't submit their assignment to Schoology, or they can't view something in Schoology, check out our HPS alternative learning website first and reach out to the teacher first. Make sure that if you have any, like we said, Chromebook issues, the hardware, this is a place to go for that. Other issues, check in with the teachers first before coming here.
All right, good advice. Thank you, Ryan. And as always, I'm your high school student services advisor. My contact email is there. My office phone number is there. If you forget where to go, I can help you, connect you with some of those resources, or try to answer your questions directly myself. Really want to thank you guys for taking time to prepare for next semester and watch this orientation video. And thanks to Mr. Horn and Ms. Halcrow for joining us. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. Looking forward to seeing you second semester.